Ha! We're back! I have no idea what happened. I am so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea what happened there. That was super, super weird. I'm just making sure people know. I don't know what happened there. That was really, really weird. It just stopped. It just stopped recording and ended the stream and was like, all channels have been disconnected. And I was like, they haven't though, mate. How dare you? First of all. And second of all, asking me to choose my favourite book clearly broke the internet. So... Oh, apparently Kimber can still hear and see me on the old stream though, so... I have no idea what's going on. I've got no idea what's happening, so I think I'm now broadcasting 2 live streams. Isn't this exciting? Welcome to the internet. I'm a Viking. I don't know how this works. So, who cares? Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. As long as you guys are still here, that's cool. I have as well. I've got 2 live streams going at the same time. This is mental. I love it. How about if I end the first one and say, go away? Whatever. You have officially broken the internet, guys. You've broken the internet. Well done. But to conclude, chuck it out the window. I'm fully ready to throw everything in front of me out of the window. Technology. I don't have a favourite book. I love the Terry Pratchett novels because I grew up with them. But in terms of finding one favourite book, no chance. Not a chance. Oh, thank you, Francesca. That's very kind of you. So sweet of you. Magical. I have no idea what happened. I genuinely don't know what happened there, so I apologise, everyone. Some Viking rage needs to be released, Tila, because that was ridiculous. It's now classed as upcoming, so the original stream it's saying is upcoming. So that's fun. Let's just fling that out of the realms of possibility by making it on Christmas Eve, and hopefully then it will just escape. There we go. It's just disappeared from. It's now in the ether. Yeah, honestly, like all the Terry Pratchett books combined would probably be my favourite book. But a single favourite book is just too difficult. Really is. Yeah. So if anyone's confused, my first live stream just ended randomly, but then it didn't end, but then it did end. So now I have know what's happening. And nobody knows. Nobody knows. No one has a clue. So there we go. Thank you, Crazy Wool Lady. Yeah, good answer, yeah. How to answer without answering. There's so many. Tanya, I have the 5 foot by 5 foot map of Ankh-Morpork as well. Oh, yes. What about Neil Gaiman? Oh, I like Neil Gaiman. I do like Neil Gaiman. Yeah, I grew up like reading some of his comic books that he wrote, and I listened to the BBC radio play of Neverwhere a little while ago. When it first was on, like years and years ago, but honestly, like he's not my favourite author. I think the book books like Good Omens, where it's Pratchett and Gaiman. I enjoy that Pratchett's there to like bring a bit of whimsy into Neil Gaiman's writing. I feel like he just adds a little bit of something just nicer, just a little bit more friendly in a way. Yeah, I really enjoy Terry Pratchett. Yeah, probably Pratchett. I cried when he died. I was at work in a full-time job in an office, and I just broke out. I burst out crying when he died. I was so upset. Oldest title in my collection would be Branwen Vergellir. It's early medieval. The first, it's probably like something ridiculous like 8th century, something like that. I've got lots of academic stuff on my bookshelf as well. Like I've got medieval Wales, 1050 to 1332. I've got the clergy and the clearances, which is about the church in the Highlands of Scotland. That's obviously for my PhD. What else have we got here? We've got the Handbook of Scottish Gaelic World by Michael Newton. It's a useful reference book. And then I've got, oh Lord, 2 big chunkies. The Corpus of Early Medieval Inscribed Stones and Stone Sculpture in Wales and Llangors Cranog. So I've got those big beasts. Oh my god, that's heavy. And then a random penannular brooch, because they just get everywhere. Delicious. Oh, wow. Oh, we've got 99 people, so I think most of you guys have made it over to the new stream, which is great. Oh, Bex, yeah, when I heard about Alan Rickman, I was in a rehearsal for a play. It was super sad. Chunky boys. Oh, so chunky. And Kalimon. How different is the Welsh in it to modern Welsh? So, in terms of it being understandable to a modern Welsh speaker, Middle Welsh is pretty easy. There are words that have gone out of use, but most of it, what did I miss? Nothing, Matthew, don't worry about it, you're good. But in the most of the problems for a Welsh speaker today is the spellings, because you have things like V's and K's in Middle Welsh that we do not have in modern Welsh. So, the Middle Welsh in Branwen is relatively easy. And when I first got it, I was doing my master's degree, and I was taking Middle Welsh as an elective, and I was the only one in the class who wasn't allowed a Welsh dictionary, because the lecturer expected me to just be able to read it. So that gives you an idea of how close it is to modern Welsh. It's super close to modern Welsh. I need a dictionary, don't get me wrong, like I need the dictionary in the back of the book to help me read it, because there's stuff in there that we just don't say anymore. But there are idioms in there from 1500 years ago that I still use today, which is amazing. Graham, Welsh lost those 2 letters, I think, basically because they sort of solidified the C and the single F as the K and the V sound in Welsh. So we have a double F, which is a F, and we have a single F, which is a V. So they got rid of the K and the C, because if you've got a single F as a V, and you've got a letter C and the letter S, what do you need a K for? So it's quite interesting. Is Middle Welsh closer to modern Welsh than Chaucer is to Jane Austen? Yes. 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 If you're fluent in modern Welsh, then yes, absolutely, I would say yes. Totally. Wendy, I encourage your 13-year-old daughter to learn Welsh. It's super cool language. Welsh is cool right now. Being Welsh is cool right now, let me tell you. Ooh. I think that's all the books I brought through. That's all the books I brought through. I got a sword. But yeah, I think Giacomo's right there in that early modern to modern is like much easier to deal with than medieval to early modern, or even medieval to modern, because how many people have read Shakespeare semi-okay, right? But if you go back to an original of Chaucer, it's way more difficult. I think that's kind of a really good point. The sword. Yeah, the sword, era-wise. This one is based off a few examples, one of which is from Scandinavia. There's one almost identical to this, was found off the south coast of Wales. They've been found in France. They're pretty good for the 10th century, basically. Go 10th century. The wire wrapped around the hilt is conjectural, but it's so pretty. And the blacksmith made it for me for free. This is made by a place called a guy called Tim Noyes. It's called Heron Armory. Bye, Liz. Good luck with your errands. Many good lucks with your errands. Yeah. This is a pommel that's been found all over the shop, from Denmark to Wales. So it's very good for Viking age. Penny Dreadful, I will do some Welsh. I will do some Welsh videos for you, so you can listen to Welsh, because listening to Welsh is a really good way of practicing it. Listening to Radio Wales, Radio Cymru, there's podcasts and stuff that you can listen to, and obviously radio broadcasts. It's a really good way of learning Welsh. Immersing yourself in the language. Oh, I forgot Gaelic. I speak Scots Gaelic as well. How could I forget Gaelic that I'm doing my PhD on? What a modo I am. Yeah, so Scots Gaelic, I would call myself an advanced beginner. It's rudimentary, but I can communicate. I can apologise that I don't speak the language. Catherine, good night. Drive Ferry Road. I don't know what that is, but it sounds important. So this isn't a gladius, May. No, a gladius is a sort of, generally today, when we say gladius, we mean a Roman sword. This is an early medieval short sword, and it's blunt for reenactment combat. I've got a sharp one in the back room, but it's not mine, so I didn't bring it through, because I want to be authentic for my live stream. My second live stream of the night. Is there a lot of... Yeah, there's loads. Flying V's farm. There's loads of research available on Viking era home life. I should do a couple of videos on that, actually, with some resources for you guys. But yeah, there's tons and tons available. I'm going to sneeze in a second, but I'm going to put it off for as long as I can. Here we go. Yeah! Hannah, the Scots Gaelic is similar to Irish... and Welsh. It's much closer to Irish. In fact, up to the 18th century, 19th century, Scots Gaelic was frequently called Irish because the languages are very, very similar. It's quite different to Welsh because they split off. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, they split off into two branches, the Goidelic with Irish and Scots Gaelic. Thank you. Bless me. Gesundheit. Danke. Diolch. Thank you. And the Brittonic with Welsh and Breton and Cornish. So I can understand some Gaelic without help, but 90% of it is just completely foreign to me when I hear it. Lots of bless me's. Thank you, yes, thank you. I sneezed. My soul is safe, cats, yeah. My soul is very safe. I feel very safe. I feel very secure. I feel like it was out there. It was leaving. It was escaping. It was like, oh, yeah, I'm a coming. Ah, salute. Ah, you say salute in Italiano. Grazie. Ah, very interesting. Oh, I nearly forgot. Don't Cry for Me, Aberystwyth by Malcolm Price, a noir novel set in mid-Wales with a slightly rude-looking ice cream. Fabulous series of books. The Aberystwyth novels, the Aberystwyth mysteries. Amazing silliness. The bonuses do stack. They do. Atisue. Ah, yes, of course. Oh, this is amazing. This is so cool. Sparta. So, yeah, a Sparta and a gladius are... They're kind of specific Roman Latin words for swords now. Nowadays, we would use them to describe Roman swords. But obviously, gladius, if somebody says gladius in a medieval manuscript, they're talking about a sword. But in the modern day, we tend to reserve those terms specifically for Roman types of swords. Bugsy, no way, you need to tell me about your sister. Send me a Facebook message and explain this to me. I really want to know that. That's so cool. Wow, that's so cool. All right. Lots of love going on in the chat, and I love it. Oh, Lenore, that sounds delightful. Yes, delightful. Bugsy's giving out some really good sword knowledge in the chat as well. Absolutely spot on. But yeah, it's a Welsh noir novel, cats. It's really, really funny. It's a comedy noir, but it's really, really funny. It's so funny. Lots of sword talk at the minute, and I want to do a series of videos about Viking weapons, and there's lots of, like... YouTube is full of people who know everything about swords and how they were used in the Viking period. And the problem with that is most of them don't, and a lot of them don't use the archaeology that we've got, and you guys already know that I'm archaeology-based and evidence-based in most of my videos, and a lot of the people who do videos on Viking swords only know about how they're used from reenactment combat, so I want to do a video about how Viking swords were used based off the wounds that we've seen from skeletons. Because we've got a lot of skeletons from the medieval period with sword wounds on them. So that's just a little, that's just a little bit of snark. My snark leaked out now. I'm trying not to snark because it's a live stream. I'm trying to be nice. But spears are correct. Ilva, spears are the king of weapons. Absolutely. How heavy are the swords, Antiyiwa? I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong there. My sword weighs 872 grams. Bye. So 872 grams is what my sword weighs. Most of them weighed a bit more than that. Mine is very lightweight, and it's made from modern. It is made from modern steel. So most of the originals weigh a lot more than that. They're longer, they're broader in the blade, they're heavier. But yeah, mine is a very lightweight sword. It was cheap. Oh, videos on Viking home life. Yeah, I must do. Oh, the Viking crochet, Nalbind. Nalbind or Naalbind. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would do a video on Nalbind, but I can't Nalbind. I cannot Nalbind. My friend Jen can, so maybe I'll get her to collaborate with me on a video about Nalbind. Actually, that would be really cool. Yeah, she did. Greta Nalbinds, yes. Oh, and she's an expert on all things textile-based, so yes, absolutely. Oh, wow, what an amazing question, Hannah. Did the Vikings have a sign language? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't think we've got any evidence that they had a sign language, but presumably people who are deaf and hard of hearing had a way to communicate. So I don't know. One would imagine that there was some way for deaf people to communicate back then. But I don't think we've got any evidence for how it was done, actually. I'm told that Nalbind is really easy to do once you get the hang of it, but I become a ham-fisted goon as soon as I attempt to. I can tie it onto the needle, I can do a couple of loops, and then I just regress to like Homo erectus levels of ability and just start like mashing it onto a rock. Cannot do. I can knit, I can crochet, I can Tunisian crochet, I can loose it, I can sprang, I can sew. Cannot Nalbind for the life of me. Just cannot do. Wish I could. Really wish I could. One day I will work it out. By hook or by crook, I will solve it. Ilva, if you could come and teach me, I'd be so happy right now. That'd be amazing. Let's just double check something. Just double checking something there, so everything seems to be okay. I'm probably going to give it like another 10 odd minutes, something like that, and then I'm going to scoot, because it's after 10 o'clock and I'm sleepy. But about 10-15 minutes, if that sounds, does that sound okay to you? Is that right? Good. Nods. Crazy Wool Lady, I'm happy to put resource links in the community page. Yeah, absolutely. If you want resource links to Nalbind, guys, I'm happy to put some resources in, some links in. Yes, Tunisian crochet Giacomo. See, I would absolutely more than happy to look for some good resources. What is sprang, Wendy? Sprang is a way of making nets, and it's really cool. So we have finds from the early medieval period of. Wow, it went weird then, didn't it? I just saw it on my laptop. That was creepy. Spooky. I didn't enjoy that. But yeah, we've got things like fish nets and hair nets made of sprang. So it's a technique for making net. It's a net making technique. And it's good fun. It's really good fun. It's quite simple once you get the hang of it. It's good fun. You can like... Pew, 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 pew. I've made a fishing net. Look how nice it is. So yeah, it's cool. Love sprang. Wow. Yeah, they're all ways of making knots, basically. All of these things are ways of making knots. Francisco, what do I reenact exactly? So at the start of the first live stream I did tonight, I went through a little list of them. So I do Viking, Anglo-Saxon, Brittonic, Tudor 1770s sailing, 1790s formal wear, 1830s formal wear, 1890s formal, World War One I'm putting together. How long have I been sewing, Adam? Oh, wow. I've been sewing for about 10 years? 12 years. 12 years. But sewing competently, 3 weeks, something like that. I've been making my own reenactment kit since 2010, and I've been sort of seriously making wearable clothes for about 5 years. So it's taken me a long time to get good, and I still don't consider myself a tailor by any means. Oh, Sumaya, yeah, you could absolutely hurt somebody with this sword. It's still, nearly a kilogram of steel. So if you hit somebody with it, it hurts. The overcoat that I'm making. Yeah, over on my Instagram, I've been putting some pictures of my overcoat that I've been making for the last year or two. It's there, but I can't really move. Sorry?
Do you want it?
Yes, please. Could you bring it? Thank you. I'm being brought the overcoat. That's so kind. Oh, May, I'm so sorry. I've introduced a new rabbit hole to you. Oh, Bugsy. Have I seen the Staffordshire Hoard, Ken? Yeah, many times I've seen the Staffordshire Hoard. Love it. It's one of my favourite things, one of my favourite assemblages. Thank you, my love. All right, here is the overcoat that I've been talking about. So this is my first ever welted pocket. Look at it. Look how cute it is. The lining, which is disgusting. Look at that beast. Oh. Blue and red shot polyester paisley for your viewing pleasure. Where's the collar? So here's the collar, and here is the inside of the collar. Ugh, filth. It's going to look awesome. It's going to look absolutely disgusting, and I love it. So this is actually Harris tweed. The outer fabric here, the fashion fabric, is a genuine Harris tweed gifted to me by a family member. So diolch, and it's amazing stuff. So the polyester paisley, yeah, I know. My little. My Welsh accent has become softer since living away from Wales, Poetry Ghost, yeah. When I speak Welsh or I go home for a bit, it becomes stronger very quickly. Look at you nodding. Yeah, we all know. And I start sounding really Welsh. Yeah, exactly. My eyes are bleeding every time I look at them. My eyes are bleeding, and my heart is weeping. If you know, you know. It's so disturbing, isn't it? It's awful. But I'm quite proud of it. I'm quite pleased with it, considering I started it before I knew how to sew. And it is constructed using period techniques, so it's made after some Victorian tailoring manuals from like the 1890s. So it has things like horsehair canvas in it. It has the proper stiffening in the right places. Everything is made using historical techniques. So I'm going to be wearing it as a daily coat, as an everyday coat, but it is made with historical techniques. So I am very pleased. Keep the pocket, burn the rest. How dare you? You know the amount of work I've put into this. It's all hand sewn as well. I could do it on a machine, but I don't feel confident on a machine yet, particularly. I should point that out. All of my sewing, as standard, is hand sewing because I'm just not confident using a sewing machine. It's not like a brag or anything. I'm just bad at machine sewing. I can't do a straight seam on a machine. I can barely do a straight seam by hand. But does my partner speak Welsh too? Wyt ti'n siarad Cymraeg?
A little bit.
Dipyn bach. Yeah? Da iawn. Yes, she does. How close is Welsh to what they speak in Denmark? Very far away, Cecilia. Danish is a completely different linguistic family. Welsh is a Brittonic Celtic language, and Danish, as far as I'm aware, is mostly Germanic. But I don't speak a word of Danish, so correct me if I'm wrong. But it's completely different. Very different. But there are no daft questions, so don't worry. Don't apologise. Don't you dare apologise. Yeah, I just, hand sewing is what I've started learning on, and I just can't. I just can't. Crazy Wool Lady, the only machine I have is a 1926, I think, hand-cranked Singer. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But my partner's new electric one is over there. And I just can't get the hang of it. I can't. It's too fast. It's too fast for me. There are no daft questions. No, genuinely, don't you dare apologise ever for asking me questions. I love getting questions from people. I've heard that Danish sounds like you've got a potato stuck in your throat from somebody else, where you're like, lots of glottal type stuff. Yeah. But yeah, no, genuinely, yeah, there are no stupid questions. I don't care. I don't care what you guys ask. I'm here for people who don't know stuff, right? That's why I'm making videos. I'm making videos for people who don't know things. So if you're like, I don't know something, sorry if it's a stupid question. No, obviously not. Obviously not. Ooh, lover of musicality. I remember my grandmother using a foot treadle machine when I was a kid to make everything that she sewed, and she was actually the first woman in her town to own her own business, and she owned a curtain shop, and she made curtains for people. So I remember her sewing full-size curtains on a treadle machine. It's amazing, from about the 1920s. So cool. Ooh, yeah, might be able to slow it down. Might be able to slow it down. And honestly, Dan, I don't know if it's difficult to get parts. It hasn't needed repair yet. Has not needed a repair. Did the Vikings knit? No, we don't have any evidence that they knitted per se. I don't think we have any evidence for actual modern knitting before the 12th century or the 13th. I do know how to darn, Katerina, yes. My undergraduate degree was ancient history and archaeology. My master's degree was archaeological studies, specialising in building reuse. And my current PhD is in language studies, basically. Why was other Jimmy eating custard powder? So Viking Metal Jimmy doesn't know a lot about modern culture. So when he finds something that he likes, he just will nom it. And he really likes custard, so he just went for the custard powder. I think he regretted it afterwards, though. Do I think I will be in research forever, or what do I imagine myself doing in a few years from now? Crikey. There's a question. Any resources about Welsh folklore and folktales? Oh, I do, and I will try and get some together for you guys. What would I do? What do I see myself doing in a few years? Ideally, I would like to still be doing research. Research is a great passion of mine. So whether I'll be doing it professionally, whether I'll be working in academia or working in some other kind of research, I don't know. But I would still like to be doing research. Yes, I would like to be doing research. Absolutely. Yeah, he just doesn't understand. Things went a bit freaky there. That was weird. Folktales. Everyone wants folktales. I will be doing videos about Welsh folktales. Don't worry. They're coming. They're coming. And I genuinely do see all of the suggestions and stuff in the comments where people are like, Welsh language videos, learning Welsh videos, folklore videos, Viking food videos. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yes, we, yeah, see, I, da, ya. But I'm only putting out a video a week max right now because that's all I can manage. So they're coming. When they're coming will be a surprise, but they are all coming. Latina Living History. Did I participate in the Welsh horse skull holiday thing? Maybe. Maybe next week that will be happening. Maybe. I've got a horse skull in the bath right now. Pet peeve reenactorism. Okay, I've got a few. That symbol, that Icelandic Christian symbol, is a pet peeve. The furry hats with the little points from Burka, pet peeve. We don't have any real evidence of how they were constructed. Mixed kit. Yes, Bugsy, mixed kit. Modern fibres. Unapologetically modern fibres, like bright pink polyester hose in the 17th century. Are you kidding me? Seen enough of those in my time. So yeah, that. Viking funeral practices, Giacomo C. Yes, I will do that. I will do that. Absolutely. Why is it a Shetland pony skull and not a Welsh pony skull, Christine? Welsh ponies are a protected species, and I would never, ever, ever hunt a Welsh pony, of course. But it's a Shetland pony skull because that is what I could find. That is what I could get hold of. Ideally, of course, it would be a Welsh horse skull. Oh, sorry, Opus Eleni is asking about mixed kit. So mixing periods at a reenactment event. So mixing periods or cultures in a way that is particularly egregious is like frowned upon in sort of some of the more stringent reenactment groups. And I should point this out right now. I am a massive snob when it comes to like public facing reenactment. I am a massive snob. I like put lots of research in and try and get the weave correct and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm a bit of a git when it comes to reenactments. Oh, Bonnie, that's so lovely. Have I got any recommendations for historically accurate stockings? What's her name? Sally Pointer does lovely historically accurate stockings. Is it Townsend's that we got the silk ones from?
You got our silk ones from American Duchess.
American Duchess for silk stockings.
There's patterns out there.
Yeah.
If you want to like make wool ones.
Exactly. Yeah, there are patterns out there. Abby Cox did a video about making medieval hose stockings, so I would go and have a look at her video. I intend to do one at some point as well. An important thing to remember is medieval stockings are cut from cloth. They're not knitted, generally speaking. So, if you Google medieval hose pattern, you'll get hold of some decent stuff. What do I think the educational value of reenactment is? I think always go naked to gigs. Yes, lad. I think the educational value as reenactment is probably mostly debunking myths. So if my experience is anything to go by, most reenactors, when they're answering questions, are answering questions based on people's preconceptions about history, and a lot of those come from TV and films, and culture, material culture and modern culture, not material culture, modern pop culture. Aton Shea Films has a video on this where he disagrees with that, but from my experience, a lot of what I tell people at reenactment events is, no, it's not like this TV show, no, it's not like this film. So I think the value of a reenactment is, with knowledgeable reenactors, you can really help to debunk some of these things. Any evidence of Vikings wearing Mongolian wools or silks? Silks, certainly. Lots of silk from the Near East, imported through the Byzantine Empire. Wools? Not as far as I know. What's the most surprising thing I've learnt from reenactment? Whoa. Crikey. Probably actually pile-woven wools. I learnt that through reenactment, and the idea that you can make a fake fur, basically, from wool was super, super cool. Oh, Corvidare, thank you so much. That's really cool of you to say. I loved doing that Vikings aren't white supremacists video. I know a lot of white supremacists hated it, so I knew I was doing things right. But I actually had to change the title of the video because YouTube put restrictions on it because it had the word white supremacists in it. Which sucks, but that's the problem. Dave McGrath, yes please. That sounds amazing. PM me on YouTube, on Facebook. Please do. Yeah. That video was... I knew I was going to get, like... It's got the most dislikes of any of my videos. It's got, like, 20% dislikes on it. And I'm super proud of that, because that means I'm really upsetting the whitey righties. Yeah. Ankalimon Ankalimon Loena is putting some serious knitting knowledge up in the chat. It's really good stuff there. Yeah. Oh, cats. Yeah. I've got like 80 dislikes on that video. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And it hasn't weeded out my followers at all, though. Like, the subscribers went really quite high up after that video went out. I was quite surprised. But yeah. Did I see OSB's History of Wales, and what did I think? I did! Born Again Geek. Greek. Yeah. I thought it was good. Yeah, genuinely thought it was good. Yeah. Thought it was very good. Bless you. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. I always watch, like, whatever History of Wales is out there. I try to catch. I try to watch it so I can be like, what are you saying about my people? And then snark it or compliment it vastly. Katerina, would I rather only wear Viking clothes or modern clothes for the rest of my life? Honestly, probably Viking clothes. They're all natural fibres. They're easy to make. The fit is generous. I don't have to worry about it being, like, nicely. Because normally I wear, like, skinny jeans, black skinny jeans, and, like, nice shirts and stuff, and, like, fashionable suit type things, and formal wear. But Viking clothes are just so easy, and natural fibres are so much better. Better for the environment. So I would go for that. Oh, guys, so many nice things about the white supremacist video. So, oh yeah, lots of people came to grump about the video, and loads of people were complaining that I was deleting them, but they were all insulting me. And you guys, like, if you insult my subscribers, you get blocked. Like, don't insult my people. Like, that's not how it works. So, no. Do I do any work on applying historical practice to the future of how we make clothes? Garrett, that's an amazing question. I actually think someone who's really good for that is Bernadette Banner, because she talks a lot about how bad fast fashion is and how we can use kind of historical techniques and historical mindsets in the way that we buy our clothes now. So I think she's doing great work on that. I don't think I've got anything more to contribute personally. I mean, I will, but I don't think I've got any more. But yeah, it was something that I do care about very much. Oh, Christine, thank you. Happy solstice to you as well. Have a lovely rest of the night. Oh, this is so cool. So many people telling me all the amazing stuff that they're doing. Yeah, her fast fashion video is super, super good. Cecilia, your doctor... I need a word with your doctor. That ain't right. That ain't right. What wool is my tunic made out of? So this is made out of a diamond twill wool. I think it's called goose eye twill as well. There you go. There it is. So this is a diamond twill wool woven by a specialist called Aidan Campbell, who's based in the northwest of England, who makes very good medieval fabric. Very, very good. Medieval wool, and this is based off wools that have been found in various sites like Dublin and York, so this is as close as you can get to a Viking Age wool, really, these days. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's not scratchy at all. I'm wearing a short-sleeved shirt underneath this right now, and I'm not feeling any kind of discomfort. Her Divine Shadow, sorry. Yeah, dress however you want, man. Dress however you like. Zach Pinsent and Dandy Wellington have taught us to just dress however you like. Dude, it's fine. Who cares? It's fine. If you want to dress like a Viking every day, do it. I don't dress like this every day. I should dress in medieval clothes more often. Maybe? Possibly? Maybe. Garrett, don't be terrified. Don't be afraid. There's always more linen. There's always more linen, my friend. What was the width of it? Historical width or modern? Oh, historical. It was made on a warp weighted loom. It's made on a warp weighted loom. Yeah, so it's historical width. Thank you, Limon. Link in the community section. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description of this live stream afterwards to Aidan. Garrett, you have ADHD, and if anyone makes fun of you, you will pass away. Yeah, but I'll think you're awesome. Do it. Try it. If anyone makes fun of you, send them my way, and I'll beat the living crap out of them. Flying V. Yes. Somebody's transitioning to an entire 1860s outfit for their daily wear. That's so cool. You're so cool. Pockets. Yeah, 18th century pockets. Do I know what kind of sheep it's from? I did when I bought it, and I can't remember. I'm really sorry. Do a challenge vid. Wear Viking for a week straight. Oh, that's a really cool idea. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. Yeah, I'll do that. Do I have any facts to drop on early crochet? No, not right now. You say that you found some that's 17th century, Emma. I wasn't aware of any before the 19th century. How about you? Do you know any? No?
I don't crochet, so.
Oh, you don't crochet, that's true, you're a knitter. I'm not aware of any crochet before the 19th century, so that's impressive if you found some 17th century crochet. Yeah. Impressive, though. Garrett, order the muslin, my friend. Order the muslin. Do it. Nalbinding. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Matthew, thank you so much for being here, man. Feed your fam. feed your family, please, God, feed your family. Yes. See? Yeah, Alicia, we were actually, I don't know why there are so few men in the costubing community. We were planning on doing it regularly, but life kind of got in the way. I don't know why there are so few men doing costuming.
You could ask more broadly why there are so few men doing historical costuming, even academically.
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, as you could ask more broadly why there are so few men doing historical costuming. Yeah, even academically. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a very good question. Who knows, honestly, whether it's because the concept of sewing and making clothing is seen as women's work in many circles, or because a lot of men just don't have the skills. I don't know, genuinely, I don't know. Do I have anxiety? Crippling, mate. Absolutely crippling. Yeah. So if anyone on here has crippling anxiety, welcome to the club. You got it. Wendy, thank you so much for being here, my friend. It's so nice to see you. Tips for getting started in reenactment. You've made your first 18th century kit, but you don't know how to get into the reenactment side of costuming. Well, you already have, if you've made 18th century kit. I would say reach out amongst your friends, probably. Say, just put a Facebook post up. Does anybody in X area know of any 18th century historical reenactment groups nearby that I could look at? If you're in the 18th century, there's probably somebody nearby because it's such a popular period to reenact. I know James Townsend's channel, Townsend's, they've done a video on getting started in reenactment. I've made a video on getting started in reenactment, actually. What am I doing? Recommending other people before me. But yeah, there's loads. Yeah, men in costuming. Yeah, it's a strange subject. Then again, there are lots of men in the SCA, aren't there?
Yeah, but they're fighters.
Oh yeah, they're mostly fighters. That's a good point. Yeah, I'd love to make the Gentleman's Club happen again. I really, really would. But people like Vintage Bush, Dandy, Gilbert Dolphalion does some amazing videos. Zach Pinsent, obviously, of course, Zach Pinsent. Vincent Briggs over on Instagram. Regency Dandy has a blog just called Regency Dandy. So there are people out there. 1640s Housewife, ironically, is a man and a woman. So there are lots of people there. But I think there are lots of men who have their clothes made for them by their female partners as well, which is not ideal. A lot of my reenactment society, we have a lot of men who make, which is great. It really is. But I don't know. It's weird. Why do you guys think? I don't know. Why do you guys think it is? There are lots of people suggesting things in the chat, so, why do you guys think? Oh, I know. Yeah, Andrew, I know there are lots of SCA guys who don't just fight, but, there are lots of SCA fighters, and a lot of them are men. Yeah. Lots of men building theatrical, historical clothes. Yeah, this is true. Yeah. More men seem to reenact in Japan unwritten book. That's really interesting. But it is mainly battle reenactment. Oh, quelle surprise. Yeah. A lot of people doing the whole like, yeah, it's because men are only interested in the fighting, which to a degree is true, but I think I'm now less interested in the fighting side of reenactment than every other side of it. Honestly, now. Skirts are easier to make than trousers. Yeah. Tunics, no excuse. Wear a tunic. Just wear a tunic. Michaela, could common early medieval people afford things like silk floss for embroidery? Probably not. Genuinely, probably not. Common early medieval people probably be lucky if they could, afford more than a couple of sets of clothing. Silk was incredibly, prohibitively expensive in the early medieval period for most people. It really, really was. So I don't think so. Good night, Andrea. So it's a nerdy thing. If you're nerdy, you're not manly. Oh, that's really depressing, Cecilia. Oh, man. Oh, that's so grim. I think that's part of it as well, is the toxic masculinity around making clothes. Making things out of wood or metal. Do you need to include seam allowance when making shoes? Yes, Emma. 100%. 100%. Treat it like sewing, is in terms of turn shoes. Treat it like sewing. And if you make it too big, always make it a bit smaller. Hey, Viking Makery. Thanks, dude. Nice one. Oh, Jennifer, yeah, a lot of people, yeah, in terms of the costube side of things, I know a lot of people are just really, really shy. But I can be quite shy, so is it an excuse? Is it an excuse? I can be shy. Leave me alone. Don't you look at me like that. I'll turn the camera around. I'll turn the camera around and I can see all of the dishes. It's my dishes. I'm getting a look now. It's my dishes. I left my dishes on the table after eating my dinner because I was being a pillock. Should I not add seam allowance? They ended up too big. Oh, then just make them slightly smaller. I always add seam allowance to my shoes, Emma. This is the thing. But I include the seam allowance in the pattern that I've made already, kind of thing. So when I'm sewing them, I know that I'm sewing into the seam allowance. So you can just trim them down and make them to size. We have so many scraps of fabric that are of leather that are literally an entire shoe, that we know medieval shoemakers were just like trimming it down and down and down and down and down to get it to size. So you are doing it perfectly periodly. You're doing a great job. So don't worry. Anka Limon, have a great time at your Zoom chat. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I don't know. This is great though. We've got such a wonderful little conversation going about things. I know, Dawn. I'm so close to 5,000 subscribers. I'm not quite at 100k like Abby Cox, but there we go. Wirral Skip for lag. Big up the Wirral massive la. Yes, lads. Nice to see you. Brissy, hello Brissy. Do I or my lovely partner know how silk cloth was made back in the day? Did they let moths hatch and unravel the cocoons afterwards?
No.
No.
You generally boil them.
No, you generally boil them.
But, okay, if you want to learn about silk production, follow Greta Pepper on Instagram.
Cool.
Because she raises
Yes.
moths.
So the person to follow if you want to know about medieval silk production is Greta Pepper, Greta Pepper, like the spice, on Instagram, because she actually she raises her own silk worms, and then makes the fabric herself, and she is incredibly knowledgeable about all of that side of silk production. So go follow Greta Pepper. It is incredible, the stuff that she knows. It's just mind-blowing amounts of information that woman has. So yeah, they boiled the cocoons. That's all I know. Yeah, Morgan Donna has a video on how she made her turn shoes as well. So if my video's crap, go and watch Morgan's. Genuinely though, turn shoes are a pain. They can be a pain. They're really simple in theory, but I highly recommend making a couple of mock-ups out of either paper. You can wrap your foot in gaffer tape, slice it open to the pattern, and then use that. And then Max is here. Hey, Max! Tasting History with Max Miller. If anyone doesn't subscribe to Tasting History with Max Miller, you've wasted 2020. Go and correct that immediately. Marius Lee. Yes, Emerald. Marius is a great costuber. Absolutely, a great male costuber. Well worth following. 100%. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Very, very well worth it. Nicole Rudolph is making turn shoes at the minute. Oh, fantastic news. We'll be on YouTube in a couple of weeks. So there you go. Nicole Rudolph in a couple of weeks will have a video about making turn shoes. So that will be well worth watching. I should emphasize again, I'm not an expert in any of the stuff I make my videos on. I do it from the point of view of someone who has been doing this for 10 years, but cannot possibly be considered a master or even a journeyman. Could we convince my partner to get on YouTube too? Currently, no. But in future, who knows? Possibly. She has many things that would be well worth watching. She is a very, very, very knowledgeable person. She is arguably a world leader in her research area, and probably one of the best historical costumers in the world. And she's not in the room right now, so I can say that without her being embarrassed. Sarah, what is the weirdest question a member of the public has asked you? Mine was, are you in a cult? Are you in a cult? Yes. The weirdest question the weirdest question I've ever been asked, genuinely, the weirdest question I've ever been asked was, are you a Nazi? And I was dressed like this, just dressed in a medieval tunic, perfectly normally. I had a little Thor's hammer, and someone said, are you a Nazi then? No! 1000% not. Quite a left-winger, in fact. Bless them, they had no idea. Singing. Shut up. Singing. I'm not singing. Oh, you mean she's an expert in singing. She's a medieval singer. She is superb. Medieval singer. Wonderful. Is that real fire is a classic one. I've had all of them. I've had, is that real fire? Is that real food that you're eating? One of my mates has had, is that a real baby when she had her child with her? Is that a real dog? Is that real sword? But the weird ones are stuff like, are you a Nazi? I also had things like, do you brush your teeth? Yeah. I'm not in character. Are you wearing a wig is a good one as well. Oh my goodness. Don't let Jimmy sing till he's drunk. How dare you? I'm Welsh. I was born singing. They don't have to smack babies on the bottom in Wales because we're born singing. Oh my goodness me. Why aren't you a woman? Maybe I am. How do you know? Garrett, message retracted. Oh, I'm sorry. How did Vikings clean their teeth? As far as I know, they did it in a few ways. So just kind of scraping off the plaque. They may well have used the kind of classic sort of scraping it with something slightly abrasive, like bark or moss. It's also sort of fairly well established. People didn't need to brush their teeth as much as we do now. Our sugar content is way higher than early medieval people's. And most of the sugar that they ate was honey, and honey is quite good for you, really. Do I do anything not historically accurate for reenactment for any reason? Yeah, absolutely. So I have a pouch that I've made, which is about twice the size of the original, so that it fits my mobile phone in it. I also have, at various times in the past, I don't anymore, but I have at various times in the past, I've put a rubber sole underneath my shoes to make them grip better. Of course, they didn't have rubber soles glued to their shoes 1,000 years ago. But I've done that to make my shoes just grip better on grass and on tarmac, on asphalt. But generally, I really do try to be as close as possible. Yeah, I genuinely, I do. Steve Banks, don't make me take your hubcaps. You would have to come up to Edinburgh, and that would involve spending money, and you wouldn't do that. Steve Banks is in the chat, and he's one of the people who's responsible for me being a Viking. Yeah. What musical instruments did the Vikings have? So the Vikings specifically, as far as we know, they had things like they had horns and they had drums. I believe they had a form of stringed instrument, but I haven't looked into that. Early medieval people had lyres of various numbers of strings, drums, trumpets, well, horns. They were aware of various other things. They had harps. They had whistles, bone whistles. We've found lots and lots and lots of bone whistles. Steve Banks in the chat has made, I believe, some bone whistles from animal bones. So they had a variety of musical instruments. And of course, the voice was probably the most popular musical instrument in the early medieval period, was singing. Everyone could do it, to various degrees. Do I wear gnarl-bound hats? No, I don't wear a gnarl-bound hat. Not for reenactment, certainly, and I don't have any non-reenactment ones, because we have no evidence that they actually gnarl-bound hats, particularly. There's one that's been found, but I am struggling to re-find it and find out what happened to it. So I don't have one at the moment. There is evidence that they gnarl-bound hats from this one find, but I cannot provenance it properly on here right now, so I'm not going to tell you to go out and find it. If anyone knows what it is, send me a message. Ulver the Red, you're trying to find a good bone for a flute. Steve, bones for flutes. When you're making a Viking-era cloak, how wide do you want the cloth to be? Connected, could you do a video on different styles of wearing them? Garrett, yeah, I intend to make a cloak video in the next few weeks. You know how I'm planning this. In terms of the length of it, theoretically, you want it to be long enough to use as a blanket, right? So if it's sort of shoulder to calf, that's probably a decent length for it to be when you're wearing it. And yes, I will make a video about wearing it. Mickey, you know the hat I'm talking about, right? Can't remember what it is. But yeah, cloaks are really simple. 1.5 meter square of cloth, you're probably fine. And then if it's not big enough or it's too big, get a different size. Everyone should have at least one cloak. And Kalimon, you are now finally leaving. Yes, I'm going to put the video up forever so you can watch it again and again and again. I promise. If I can work out how to do it. Otherwise it's gone, lost to the ether. But I think I can. I think it just stays on YouTube, no? Should it be a square? For early medieval, Garrett, yeah, just a square of cloth is fine. Just a square. Half-circle cloaks, semicircular cloaks are known. But I think most of those are slightly later medieval, post-Viking period, and most of those, as far as I'm aware, are ecclesiastical, so for priests and bishops. Oh, the Tagl harper. Thank you, Ken. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Vikings, Sami, and Rus are more or less dressed the same. Yes? Maybe. More or less in terms of tunic, pants, shoes. But that describes everybody in Europe at the time. And probably in most of Asia at the time. And in fact, probably North America at the time. So, to a degree. But then the decoration, the accessories, the materials, the colours, all of that is different. Ashley, go make dinner for your fam. I know a lady who makes chrome tanned shoes. Are they authentic? No. Not for the Viking period by dint of their being chrome tanned. If they are vegetable tanned, that's much, much better. Aim for vegetable tanning. But chrome tanning isn't known until, I believe, the 19th century, so or possibly the 20th century. How much and what kind of armour did Viking use during battle? Born Again Geek. Armour? Chainmail. Underneath the chainmail, maybe leather. Some kind of padded garment. How much of it? Not a great deal. Chainmail was incredibly expensive. So if you are a commoner, if you are a middling Viking, you're probably not wearing any armour. You might be wearing a padded garment or a piece of leather. But your main armour is going to be your shield and possibly your helmet. Oh, there we go, Remy. Yeah, semicircle cloaks from the 9th and 10th century. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the only ones we've got are ecclesiastical, but, correct me if I'm wrong. Helen! Hi, Helen! Saxon Mantles, just a big poncho used like a cloak. Yeah, but they're debated, though, in the shape and the form of them, no? Were clogs a thing for the Vikings? I don't know that we've got any evidence for Viking Age clogs. We have ice skates from the Viking Age made of bone, but clogs? Not as far as I'm aware. Garrett, will you be hated by all if you get an 80% wool blend? I have 80% wool blend kit. That's what you can afford. That's what you buy, my friend. What are my thoughts on leather Lamellar armour? There's no evidence of it whatsoever, Bugsy, for the Viking period at all. There's evidence for it from the Romans. The Romans used leather Lamellar. But as far as the Vikings go, we've got no evidence for it. Oh my goodness. Crazy wool lady. Oh, you're indigenous from North America. Yeah, tunics and pants and shoes. Right? Right. What else we got here? Did fat Vikings like drop scones? Yeah. All Vikings like drop scones. Oh my goodness me. Shinbone ice skates. Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it? You found evidence from Burka of Lamellar armour. I bet you did. And I bet it's not Viking. And I bet it's not leather. Guys, this is amazing. So, I've stayed on for way longer than I said I was going to. Oh, good grief, it's 11:15 at night. I've been online for like 2 hours and 3/4. This is amazing. Guys, thank you so much. We've got 157 people watching this live stream. 156. All right, fine. Whatevs. I don't even care. So I am going to scoot. Leather replacements for vegans. Oh, crikey. If you're a vegan, use vegan leather. Use fake leather. You're a vegan. Don't betray your core beliefs for the sake of historical reenactment. That's not cool. So I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much for coming online. It's amazing to see so many of you. This is awesome, awesome stuff. It's almost 6 in New England, but it's almost 11 here. So thank you so much. Nancy, thank you so much for being here. Vanessa, thank you. Ilva, Steve, Helen, Bugsy, Max, all of the CosTubers who've been online tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for coming online and joining us. This has been amazing. I will definitely do another live stream again at some point soon. I will try and make it work better so that I don't have to do 2 live streams because it ends halfway through. I don't know what happened. It just died. So if anyone wants to see the first live stream, I'm just going to keep both of the live streams on my channel. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the night. Graham, enjoy your run. I would have gone for a run tonight if it hadn't gone so late. But nos da, good night. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd am ymuno. Thank you so much to you all for joining in. Hwyl fawr, nos da, goodbye and good night. Na I weld chi tro nesa. I will see you next time. Hwyl am y tro. Bye for now. How do I stop this? There we go.